5 bottles, 5 brands, and every single one of them is charging you for something that has absolutely nothing to do with what is in the glass. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what that something is, and exactly how much it is costing you every time you reach for one of these bottles. Welcome back to Behind the Barrel, where we go behind the label, behind the marketing, and behind the industry's most expensive myths. Irish whiskey is the fastest growing spirits category in the world right now. Sales are up, new brands are launching every month, and consumers are spending more per bottle than ever before. But here is what nobody in the industry wants you to understand. A significant number of the most recognizable Irish whiskey brands on the shelf right now are not charging you for what is in the bottle. They are charging you for the bottle itself, the story, the celebrity, the corporate heritage, the fancy packaging. And the liquid inside, the thing you are actually going to drink, is often indistinguishable from expressions costing a fraction of the price. Today, we are exposing 5 of the worst offenders, one at a time, in forensic detail. And by the end of this video, you will never look at an Irish whiskey shelf the same way again. Before we get to the specific brands, I want to explain exactly how this works, because understanding the mechanism protects you far better than any individual brand warning. Irish whiskey has a marketing problem that is unique in the spirits world. Unlike Scotch whiskey, which has strict regional and production regulations that create genuine product differentiation, Irish whiskey regulations are relatively permissive. A brand can source whiskey from any of Ireland's large industrial distilleries, bottle it under a craft-positioned brand name, surround it with heritage imagery and storytelling, and charge a premium price without ever telling you where the liquid actually came from. This is legal. This is common. And this is happening at scale across the Irish whiskey category right now. The 3 tools these brands use most aggressively to justify prices the liquid cannot support are always the same: the heritage story, the packaging premium, and the celebrity or lifestyle endorsement. Every penny spent on any of those 3 things is a penny not spent on what is in the bottle. With that clearly in mind, let us look at the 5 brands doing this most aggressively right now. Brand number 1, Jameson Flavored Line. Let me be clear about something before I say a single negative word about this brand. Jameson Original is a genuinely well-made, approachable blend at a fair price. I have no issue with it whatsoever. It does exactly what it says on the label, and it does it well. The flavored line is a completely different conversation. Jameson Cold Brew, Jameson Orange, Jameson Black Barrel Select Casks. These products take the Jameson name, one of the most trusted and recognized names in global spirits, and apply it to flavored alcohol beverages that have more in common with a cocktail mixer than a traditional Irish whiskey. Cold Brew adds coffee flavoring. Orange adds orange flavoring. The complexity, the maturation character, the layered development that whiskey enthusiasts value, gone, replaced by a sweetness specifically engineered to appeal to people who do not actually like whiskey. And the price? Almost identical to the original expression, sometimes more. You're paying a traditional Irish whiskey price for a flavored spirit that required a fraction of the craft, maturation care, and production skill. Irish Distillers, the Pernod Ricard subsidiary that makes Jameson, is betting that brand recognition will do the work that liquid quality is no longer doing. And right now, that bet is paying off handsomely. At your expense. Brand number 2, the Sexton Single Malt. The Sexton comes in a hexagonal bottle. It is genuinely striking. It won design awards. The brand's story involves Gaelic mythology and a character called the Sexton who guards the secret of the whiskey. It is also owned by Proximo Spirits, the same corporation behind Jose Cuervo and Proper 12, which should immediately tell you something about the priorities of the people running this brand. At its price point, the Sexton is competing directly with Teeling Small Batch, Napogue Castle, and the Busker Single Malt, all of which deliver significantly more complexity and character in the glass. What the Sexton delivers is a pleasant, light, unchallenging single malt that would be entirely reasonable at $28.
At its actual retail price of $35 to $40, it is paying for a bottle design you will recycle and a brand story you will forget. Here is the economics of that hexagonal bottle that most people never think about. A standard round spirits bottle costs a fraction of what a custom hexagonal mold costs to produce. That additional production cost goes somewhere. It goes into the retail price, which means it comes out of your pocket. Every time you buy the Sexton, you are paying a premium for the privilege of throwing away a more expensive bottle. The liquid inside is not paying for itself. The packaging is. Brand number 3, Roe and Co. George Roe and Company was one of the greatest Dublin distilleries of the 19th century. At its peak, it was producing more whiskey than virtually any distillery in the world. The original Thomas Street windmill is still one of Dublin's most iconic landmarks. It closed in 1926. Nearly a century later, Diageo, the largest spirits corporation on the planet, the company behind Johnnie Walker, Guinness, Baileys, and dozens of other global brands, purchased the name, invested in the original windmill building, built a beautiful visitors center, and launched a blended Irish whiskey under the resurrected Roe and Co. name. Here is the part that matters. The liquid inside Roe and Co. is a blend sourced from the Middleton and Bushmills distilleries, both owned by Diageo's competitors. Because at the time of launch, Diageo did not have its own Irish whiskey distillery producing at meaningful scale. So what are you actually paying for when you buy Roe and Co.? You are paying for Diageo's heritage acquisition strategy, their marketing budget, their beautifully designed bottle, their Dublin Visitors Center. The whiskey itself, pleasant, smooth, genuinely competent, is not worth the premium over expressions with more authentic craft provenance at the same price point. Diageo bought a ghost, dressed it up beautifully, and charged you to meet it.
Brand number 4, Slane Irish Whiskey. Slane Castle is one of Ireland's most genuinely famous landmarks, home to some of the most legendary concerts in Irish history, steeped in real heritage and real history. Brown-Forman, the American corporation behind Jack Daniel's and Woodford Reserve, purchased the rights to produce whiskey at Slane and built a distillery on the castle grounds. Let me be fair, the distillery is real, the castle is real. The ambition to create a genuine Irish whiskey expression is real. But here is the investigation question that the beautiful marketing never answers. What is actually in the bottle right now in 2026? Slane Triple Cask is a blend of grain, malt, and pot still whiskeys. While their own distillery matures, a process that takes years, the blend has been supplemented with sourced whiskey from established Irish producers. The whiskey inside is young. The age is not stated anywhere on the label, because stating the age would make the premium price extremely difficult to justify. What Brown-Forman is selling you is Ireland, the castle, the landscape, the history, the concert stage. What they are giving you is a young, sourced blend at a price that reflects the marketing investment, not the liquid investment. The gap between those two things is exactly what is coming out of your wallet every time you buy this bottle. Brand number 5, Proper 12. We did a full investigation on this one, and if you have not seen it, I will link it at the end of this video. But for the purposes of this investigation, here is the essential truth. Co-founded by Conor McGregor, sold to Proximo Spirits for a reported $600 million, produced at Great Northern Distillery in Dundalk, one of Ireland's largest industrial contract distilling operations, the liquid is a grain-heavy blend, minimum legal age, minimum complexity, maximum marketing budget. At $35 a bottle, you are in direct competition with Teeling Small Batch, the Busker Single Malt, West Cork Bourbon Cask, and Powers Gold Label, every single one of which delivers more genuine Irish whiskey character than Proper 12 manages. Here is the number that tells you everything. Proximo Spirits reportedly paid $600 million for Proper 12. That $600 million did not come from the quality of the liquid. It came from the power of a famous face to make people stop asking what is in the bottle. And it is still working. Now let me actually taste 3 of these so you can hear exactly what I am talking about in the glass. Jameson Orange first. The nose tells you everything immediately. This is not a whiskey nose. This is the nose of an orange-flavored cocktail mixer. The grain whiskey underneath is barely detectable beneath the flavoring. The palate confirms it. Sweet, One-dimensional, the orange flavoring dominates entirely. No whiskey complexity, no development, no layers, nothing to require a single extra day in a cask. This is a $12 flavored spirit wearing a $35 label. The Sexton next. The nose is light, approachable, a gentle malt character with some honey and a whisper of fruit. It is pleasant. I want to be honest about that. It is genuinely pleasant. But on the palate, it is light-bodied, briefly sweet, and then gone. The finish departs almost before you have registered it arrived. For $35 to $40, the return on that investment is genuinely disappointing. The bottle absolutely delivered more than the liquid. And finally, Proper 12. Soft grain on the nose, light vanilla, inoffensive in every possible way. This is a whiskey that was engineered to challenge nobody. On the palate, thin, sweet, flat mid-palate, a finish that disappears without leaving any impression whatsoever. 3 brands, 3 very different justifications for their price, one consistent result. In every case, the money you spent went somewhere other than the liquid in your glass. Here's what connects all 5 of these brands and why understanding the pattern is more valuable than any individual warning. They are all selling you a reason to spend money that has nothing to do with what you are drinking. Jameson Flavored is selling you convenience and the comfort of a familiar name. The Sexton is selling you a bottle design and a mythology. Roe and Co is selling you corporate heritage and a Dublin postcode. Slane is selling you a castle and a landscape and the memory of a concert you might have attended. Proper 12 is selling you a face and a postcode and a story about an underdog who made it. None of those things ferment. None of them distill. None of them mature in oak for years developing genuine complexity. Only the liquid does that. And in every single case on this list, the liquid was the last thing the brand invested in. The most expensive ingredient in Irish whiskey is time. Time in a cask, time developing character, time that cannot be rushed or marketed or celebrity endorsed into existence. Every pound spent on a hexagonal bottle is a pound not spent on better casks. Every dollar paid to a celebrity is a dollar not invested in longer maturation. Every euro spent on a heritage name acquisition is a euro not spent on distillery craft. The 5 brands on this list made a deliberate choice. They chose the story over the liquid, and they are charging you to subsidize that choice every single time you reach for one of these bottles. For every brand on this list, there is a better bottle at the same price or less. Instead of Jameson Orange, buy Jameson Original, same price, actual whiskey. Instead of the Sexton, buy the Busker Single Malt, same price, more complexity, uglier bottle, better liquid. Instead of Roe and Co, buy Teeling Small Batch, higher proof, no chill filtration, more genuine craft provenance. Instead of Slane, buy Napogue Castle 12 Year, a real age statement, real maturity, honest pricing. Instead of Proper 12, buy Powers Gold Label, more pot still character, more authentically Irish, half the marketing budget, twice the liquid integrity. Same shelf, same price range, completely different priorities. 5 brands, 5 different ways of charging you for something that is not in the glass. The pattern is always the same. When a brand leads with the bottle, look harder at the liquid. When a brand leads with a celebrity, ask who is paying for that contract. When a brand leads with heritage, find out if the distillery is still standing. When a brand leads with a lifestyle, remember that lifestyles do not ferment. The Irish whiskey industry is producing genuinely exceptional liquid right now, but it is also producing exceptional marketing. Your job and ours is to know the difference. Buy the liquid, not the story. Which of these 5 brands surprised you the most? And which Irish whiskey do you think deserves its own full behind-the-barrel investigation? Drop it in the comments below. This community's collective knowledge is worth more than any brand's marketing budget. Subscribe to Behind the Barrel for honest, unsponsored investigations into what is actually in your glass every single week. Drink less, drink better, and always check what is behind the barrel.